Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Paul is here, modeling the new kit, the new home
shirt.
kit. Yay! Oh yeah, I didn't want to say the whole kit. He's not full kitting it right now.
No,
in his room.
I'm just naked below the waist.
And yeah, everyone enjoy the visual. Yeah, it's for you. So Paul, we are rolling with 4 segments.
Right.
So let me go ahead and run down what those segments are for everybody else on the podcast. Paul, Rotherham, 3-1, we win. Let's get your analysis. Initial reaction first.
It was a job well done in the end. I mean, these cup games always tend to give people a few jitters because you just know there's going to be a lot of rotation. There's going to be a lot of players who you want to make a good impression, and not all of them are always going to be able to. So, and especially against a team like this, Rotherham, they're coming into this game with nothing to lose, are they? They're going to come here, give us a game. There's been times in the past where we've gone into these type of cup games. We played a cup. We've made 1 or 2 changes too many, type thing. We played a couple of players who were put in the oven and they couldn't stand the heat, type thing. So I went into this game, especially when I saw that starting lineup, was a little bit strange to say the least. I was a little bit concerned, thinking I think he's tinkered with this team a little bit too much of my liking here. I really don't hope this. I really hope this is not going to be one of those nights, but it was okay in the end. I mean, it was a bit of a stunted start. I mean, you'd expect that when there's a lot of players who haven't had a lot of minutes in the last couple of months, or are players who are playing together for the first time. So things were a little bit stunted to start with, but I think as soon as the first goal went in, everyone just kind of settled down. Everyone very relaxed. The players moved the ball around a lot calmer. The crowd kind of got back behind them a lot more, and it just turned into quite a fun, enjoyable evening, really. I mean, there was only, again, the jitters came back when they pulled that goal back near the end. And considering that the rules have changed now in the League Cup, if a game is a draw after 90 minutes, there's no extra time. It's just straight penalties. And you thought, all right, they've just got a goal 5 minutes from the end. This has been such a comfortable night, such a professional performance. This would just be the most Everton thing in the world to cock this up now and go to penalties. But thankfully, it didn't happen. We went right down the other end, and within, I think it wasn't even 60 seconds before we got the third goal. So overall, it was a game where we started off a bit slow, but we got going after the first goal, and as the game wore on, just things were very, very comfortable, and a few players made some good impressions. A few other players didn't impress so much, really. I mean, but I don't think it was really a game where anyone came out of it it didn't give anyone any reason to be unhappy. We got the win. Most of the players look good, or at least comfortable, and onwards we go in this cup.
Nice. Yeah, and for those of you who did not see the draw, it just happened. We're at home against Southampton. So, yeah, not a bad draw. Could have been worse.
Yeah, I like that draw. Personally, yeah. I like it's a home draw. We can't ask for anything else. A lot of, Southampton, we've just played them. We've just, let's have it right. We just pretty much beat them comfortably in the league. They're not going to come up to Goodison and play their full team. They're not going to. They've got other concerns. They've got a manager who's probably going to be gone by the time we play that game. They're going to be in a relegation dogfight this season, by the looks of it. That game's not really going to be their priority, so I'm very happy with that draw. It's a Premier League team. We all would have preferred a lower league team, but as far as Premier League teams go, that's probably the best draw you can hope for.
Well, and if they clatter us like last time, they're going to be lucky to end with 11. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. Anyway, back to Rotherham. You mentioned the kind of lineup being tinkered with a bit. The most significant place that I thought it was manipulated was in the center of the pitch with Sigurdsson, Davies, and Dowell, which Davies clearly is the more defensive of the three. And he started captain, which I got to be honest, I kind of like, just because I like Davies a lot, But so with those three there, how did that affect our formation at all, or our approach at all, or did he just have Sigurdsson play farther back in one of those other kind of, you know what I mean? One of those other kind of farther back center roles, the way we have either Gay or Schneiderlin playing?
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. As I said, during that first half hour, when things were a bit like when things weren't really going to plan, kind of the centre midfield looked very, very cluttered. Like the three guys themselves, Sigurdsson, Davies, and Dow. It was like the three of them couldn't really work out amongst themselves who was meant to be where, who was doing which job, type thing. Now, as the game wore on, they sort of figured that out and they kind of got up to speed with each other. And it was Davis playing the deep role. I saw Davis coming back into our half to pick the ball up from the centre-backs far more than the other two did. And there were a lot of times when, if Rotherham would push forward, it would be Davis who would be dropping back furthest. So he was very much playing the number 6 role, the deep quarterback kind of role, whereas Sigurdsson was playing more in the traditional number 10, further up the pitch. And Dow was kind of given that number 8 spot, where he just kind of was allowed to roam around in the middle, box to box, kind of just make his presence felt. So so it was Sigurdsson who was playing further up in the number 10, Davis who was playing deep as the defensive midfielder mostly, and Dow who was actually kind of left in the middle to kind of,
I didn't see that coming.
Keep things keeps moving. And as I said, it was a bit of a slow start, but as the game wore on and we got the goal and everybody seemed to feel more comfortable and and the players seemed to just find a bit more confidence, and obviously Rotherham just kind of began to sat deeper and deeper. I thought eventually things started to click a lot better, so it was interesting. I haven't really ever seen Davis in that kind of role, especially play very, very deep, which he was for a lot of the game, especially for the entire second half. He was sitting in our half far more than he was going forwards into their half, which is, you never know. We could see that in the Premier League. Maybe that was going to be the plan that Silva has for him. You don't know.
So Dowell playing a little bit out of position then, which is...
Yeah,
because I've never seen him play that 8 role, so maybe that's just my inexperience, having not seen him play a lot for the under-23s when he was playing for them. But I've always associated him with being either that kind of attacking center mid role, or he's played wing before for a few teams. So I didn't expect you to say that. Cool. Digne, according to Everton Twitter, was man of the match for many.
Yes.
You feel good about that signing now? Feeling great?
Yeah, I really liked Digne. He was man of the match for me as well. I thought Digne looked a real cut above the players he was playing. Now, I know it's Rotherham, but it's always a good sign when he doesn't look like he's at all going to need any time to adjust. I would put him in the starting 11, the main starting 11 tomorrow, based on that performance last night. He passed the ball really well. He linked up with Sigurdsson really, really impressively. He whipped in some brilliant balls on both his feet as well, on his left foot, and he set up the second goal with his right as well, with his opposite foot. So he's got a great cross on him. He reads the game very well. He was always in the right position type thing, which is sometimes, I don't want to dig him out, but sometimes Kenny on the other side could get kind of caught kind of out of position a little bit, or backing off from a challenge, whereas Digne just looked like it was all food and drink for him. He never looked uncomfortable at any point in the game at all.
Great. I saw that replay and I was like, what is... I just saw the replay and I was like, what in the world is he doing on the right? I was like, that's Digne, right? What's going on there? But I guess it was just after there had been a direct kick that I guess Sigurdsson had whipped in, but I guess Digne had been back there to help or something. So that would explain him being on the right, because, it was just kind of... I did a double take. I did hear that John Joe Kenny looked good. Yeah. He played well. I think some people gave him man of the match. Sandro, I heard, looked very solid in the first half. And obviously DCL bagged 2 goals. After hearing all that, your standouts for the young players who maybe don't get to play as much. If you were a neutral observer, hadn't seen any of those, which of the young players would catch your eye?
Kenny, to be fair, I didn't mean to sound like I was kind of doing him down a moment ago, but I thought Kenny looked really, really mature and really, really like he's ready to be playing top level. He's a little bit of a forgotten man at the moment, isn't he? Type thing, because Coleman is such a fan favourite, and the idea of dropping Coleman when he's not injured is unthinkable. So it's kind of going to be hard to see where Kenny's going to kind of get his opportunities going forward. But I thought he looked really, really, really good and really impressive and very mature. There's a lot of young players, like you said, they kind of just flop their big chance type thing. And Kenny looks like he's been playing in the first team rather for many years. So he's obviously got a lot of improvement to do. He is still raw type thing, but I was kind of mulling over the fact the last couple of weeks, months, is Kenny one of those players who could maybe benefit from a loan, playing 30, 40 games in a team? But after that last night, I kind of came around to the opinion of no, I think there's a place for him here. Good. I think there's a place for him as our number 2 right back. And if he has to play in a cup game midweek, or if there's Coleman picks up a slight knock at some point in the season and has to miss a few weeks, I'd be more than comfortable throwing Kenny back in, because when he was played there last season, he really showcased himself and really done himself proud. And there's not one bit of evidence from what I've seen in any of his performances to suggest that he's not ready for this level.
Great, that's great news. He's a player that last season I think a lot was expected of him very quickly. So I'm psyched that he's grabbing the opportunities he is getting. Quick question about Sandro. He seems to put the ball across pretty well. You know, he seems to be a pretty accurate crosser of the ball. Is he? And he would offer us something unlike any of our other players that we have. Somebody who's trying to mainly set up other players for goals rather than be direct and cutting in the way Walcott, Richarlison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do we keep Sandro, or is he definitely going to Sociedad? Okay, so here's a brief update. Prior to recording, Sandro's loan move had not gone through. Guess what? It has gone through now. So, yeah. So there's your update. We were wondering whether or not Sandro was officially gone on loan to Spain, and yes, it has happened. Real Sociedad. So he's definitely not going to be in the squad for this weekend. Anyway, back to the show. Last thing, let's make this super quick. Zonal marking. Is the zonal marking responsible for that goal, or was it one player where you're like, you didn't cover what you were supposed to do?
I would blame it on the zonal marking. I'm not a fan of it.
I sort of gave you two choices that are the same thing, essentially. Because if someone doesn't cover their area, well, then that's zonal marking failing. You know what I mean? And that means we need to communicate better as a squad in those situations. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one. If you're going to... Zonal marking is one of those things where whenever a team starts it and takes that as a new approach, it's always going to have teething problems. Yeah. It's something that has to be drilled in. They have to be training that every day for months on end before we'll start seeing the benefits of it. Whereas man marking at set pieces, that looks like it's kind of... that seems like it would be the most sensible option to do, but the thing with man marking is you've got to have real quality defenders for that to work. If you have defenders who are just not quick enough, or to get up off the ground, or not quick enough to keep up with their man, or their concentration levels are just not strong enough, then man-to-man marking, it has its own perils. Right. So far the zonal marking I've not been a fan of it. We have leaked too many goals because of it, but it looks like Silva's going to persevere with it, so I guess we'll just have to hope it gets better as we go on. But one thing I will say is, because I saw a good line on Twitter that I'd like to repeat, zonal marking is marking a blade of grass, and I've never seen a blade of grass score a goal. do you know where I'm coming from? So this zonal marking, long term, I think zonal marking we might see the fruits of that, but right now, it has to get better, and it has to get better a lot quickly, because we are leaking too many silly goals at the moment. Yeah,
all the goals we're leaking are silly. Anyway, all right. So here's hoping we actually clamp down this weekend, and we'll talk about this weekend in our upcoming Huddersfield preview. So that is coming up, but for now, that's it for our Rotherham reaction. 3-1 win. Feels good. We're still undefeated this season, just saying. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe. Creeping up on 1120 subs. Baby steps, getting there. It's wonderful. So thanks for that, basically. Make sure you check out, I think, Paul, you've got a story on the Toffee Blues website about Gary Speed, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was put up last
Yeah.
week. Got a lot of lovely comments.
People
from
are
that, which
really
I
saying some
appreciate.
nice
Thank you very much.
stuff about that, so everybody check that out. Anything cooking recently?
No, just the usual. I'm still going to as many games as I can. Still writing for Toffee Blues. Still having my two cents in the Liverpool Echo, and I'm always putting my stupid thoughts on Twitter. So if you're interested, please go on and give me a follow.
I like your stupid thoughts, Paul. Just saying. All right. Well, yeah, that's it. So we're gonna go on and work on a preview, match preview. So yeah, bye.